Series of Brahma Samhita, Sri Brahma Samhita 5.1 Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karan Karanam. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Mastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the Supreme Godhead. He has an eternal blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, and He is the prime cause of all causes. Krishna is the exalted supreme entity, having His eternal name, eternal form, eternal attribution, and eternal pastimes. The very name Krishna implies His love-attracting designation, expressing by His eternal nomenclature the acme of entity. His eternal, beautiful, heavenly, blue-tinged body glowing with the intensity of ever-existing knowledge has a flute in both His hands. As His inconceivable spiritual energy is all extending, still He maintains His all-charming medium size by His qualifying spiritual instrumentals. His all-accommodating supreme objectivity is nicely manifested in His eternal form. The concentrated, all-time presence, uncovered knowledge, and inebriating felicity have their beauty in Him. The mundane manifestive portion of His own self is known as all-pervading Paramatma, Ishvara, superior Lord of Vishnu, all-fostering. Hence it is evident that Krishna is sole supreme Godhead. His unrivaled or unique spiritual body of super-excellent charm is eternally unveiled, with innumerable spiritual instrumentals, senses, and unreckonable attributes keeping their signifying location properly, adjusting at the same time by His inconceivable conciliative powers. This beautiful spiritual figure is identical with Krishna, and the spiritual entity of Krishna is identical with His own figure. The very intensity blended entity of eternal presence of felicitous cognition is the charming targeted holding or transcendental icon. It follows that the conception of the indistinguishable formless magnitude Brahman, which is an indolent, lax presentment of cognitive bliss, is merely a penumbra of intensity blended glow of the three concomitants, viz., the blissful, the substantive, and the cognitive. This transcendental manifestive icon, Krishna, is His original face, is primordial background of magnitudinal infinite Brahman and of the all-pervasive Oversoul. Krishna is truly visioned in His variegated pastimes, such as owner of transcendental cows, chief of cowheads, consort of milkmaids, a ruler of the terrestrial abode, Gokula, an object of worship by transcendental residents of Goloka beauties, is Govinda. He is the root cause of all causes, who are the predominating and predominated agents of the universe. The glance of His projective fractional portion in the sacred originating water, the personal oversoul or Paramatma, gives rise to a secondary potency nature, who creates this mundane universe. This oversoul's intermediate energy brings forth the individual souls analogously to the emanated rays of the soul. This book is a treatise of Krishna, so the preamble is enacted by chanting His name in the beginning. Sahasra Patra Kamalam Gokulakyam Mahat Padam Tad Karnikaram Tad Dhama Tad Anantam Sa Sambhavam. The spiritual place of transcendental pastimes of Krishna is portrayed in the second verse. The super-excellent station of Krishna, which is known as Gokula, has thousands of petals and a corolla like that of a lotus, sprouted from a part of his infinitary aspect, the whole of the leaves being the actual abode of Krishna. Gokula, the Goloka, is not a created mundane plane. Unbounded character forms the display of his unlimited potency and his propagating manifestation. Baladeva is the mainstay of that energy. The transcendental entity of Baladeva has two aspects, viz., infinite spiritual manifestation and infinite accommodating space for insentient gross things. The uniquadrantal delineation of material universe will be dealt within the proper place. The triquadrantal extensions of the transcendental infinitary field of the Almighty, unlamenting, non-perishing, and non-apprehending unlimited situations of halo, which are fully spiritual majestic foliation. This very majestical extension portrays the manifested lofty rich feature of the vaster unlimited region or greater atmosphere, which has its resplendent location wholly beyond the realm of mundane nature. On the further shore of Vraja, Viraja, surrounded by the halo of Brahman, or indistinguishable entity, this majestical power of unlimited spiritual emanates on the upper portion of the luminous sphere into the most charming Gokula, or eternally existing Goloka, exceedingly beautified by the assorted display of effulgence. Some designate this region as the abode of the Supreme Narayana, or the original fountainhead. Hence Gokula, which is identical with Goloka, is the supreme plane. The same sphere shines as Goloka and Gokula, respectively, by its upper or transcendental and lower or mundane situation. Srila Sanatana Goswami has told us as follows in his Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which embodies the final essence of all the books of instructions. He displays his pastimes here in this land as he is used to do in Goloka. The difference between the two planes lies only in their locations as high and low. That is, in other words, Krishna plays exactly the same part in Goloka as he exhibits on the mundane plane of Gokula. There is practically no difference between Gokula and Goloka, save that this what exists in the shape of Goloka in the upper region is the same as Gokula in the mundane plane. When Krishna showed his various activity there, Srila Jiva Goswami has also inculcated the same in the Bhagavata Sandarbha of his 6 treatises. To ascertain the plane of Goloka Vrindavan is the eternal abode of Krishna, and Goloka and Vrindavan are identically one, and though both are identical, yet Krishna's inconceivable energy has made Goloka the acme of this spiritual kingdom and Gokula of Mathura province, forming a part of the mundane plane, which is also a manifestation of triquadrantal Vibhuti conducting majesty. Poor human understanding cannot possibly make out how the extensive triquadrantal, which is beyond human comprehensive, can be accommodated in the limited neither material universe of a uniquadrantal disclosure. Gokula is a spiritual plane, hence his condescended position in the region of material space, time, etc. is in no way restricted but unlimitedly manifested with his full boundless propriety. But conditioned souls are apt to assert a material conception in regard to Gokula by their miserable senses so as to bring him below the level of the intellect. Though the eye of an observer is impeded by a cloud when gazing at the sun, and though the tiny cloud can never really cover the sun, still the clouded vision apparently observes the sun as covered by the cloud. In just the same way, the conditioned souls with their obscured intelligence, senses and decisions accept Gokula as a piece of miserable land. We can see Gokula from Goloka, which is eternal. This is also a mystery, the attainment of final Beatitude is the success in attaining one's eternal self. The success in identifying the true self is finally achieved when the screen of gross and subtle coils of conditioned souls is removed by the sweet will of Krishna. However, the idea of Goloka is seen to differ from Gokula till the success in unalloyed devotion is achieved. The transcendental plane of infinite spiritual manifestation, having thousands of petals and corolla like those of the lotus in Gokula, the eternal abode of Krishna.